Hey guys, Travis here. In a past life, I was one of the most decorated high school speech and debate coaches in American history. And today I'm going to teach you one of the things that I used to teach my students. Now, they used it to win national championships. You're going to use it to become a better citizen. So today we're talking about the difference between a fact and a political position. Just so we're on the same page, a good pragmatic definition of a fact is a testable aspect of reality, which of course raises a lot of interesting philosophical questions about, can we possibly know something and what can science prove and so on. What is real? What isn't real? To make things a little simpler, here's another definition of fact that I find useful. Something that you can be completely wrong about. So 2 quick examples. A fact is 2 + 2 = 4. If you think it equals anything other than 4, you're just wrong. An opinion would be everyone should learn arithmetic. Because even if there's a lot of facts that seem to support that position, you can't be completely wrong about it. At some point, the belief that everyone should learn arithmetic is rooted in personal values, in something that's arbitrary. A fact would be Thomas Jefferson was the 3rd president of the USA. An opinion would be Jefferson was the 3rd best president of the USA. Because how you measure what the best president is going to come down to something that isn't a testable aspect of reality. You can't be completely wrong about who the best president was. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's talk about the difference between a fact and a political position. Here's a fact. Climate change is happening. And just a quick sidebar here, if you're not there yet, you need to ask yourself, if it were true that climate change is happening, would I be able to accept it? If the answer is no, that's what you need to work on. If the answer is yes, if you can be persuaded that climate change is real, then just pause the video and go take care of that first. My favorite place to do that is climate.nasa.gov. Head on over there, keep reading until panic is running through your veins, and then come on back here and finish watching this video. So again, the fact is climate change is real. A political position stemming from that fact might be the government should invest taxpayer money in clean energy. Okay, well, that's an interesting stance. A lot of folks disagree with that position, and there are many different competing positions that one might take. One of them, tragically one of the most popular ones, is, well, climate change is not happening. That is a bogus position. It barely even deserves the title of position. All you're saying is, I'm choosing to reject the facts. Okay, so somebody who's saying climate change is not happening is doing it for one of 2 reasons. 1, cynical political opportunism, or 2, ignorance. Folks who fall into the first category, like Ted Cruz, clearly just have no interest in the truth. They're just waging war on humanity for personal gain. Ted Cruz can't be helped, he can't be fixed, he can't be reasoned with. All you can do is abandon him. But don't let that frustration and that lack of respect carry over into most climate change deniers, because most of them are just ignorant. They just don't know any better. When you're dealing with a well-meaning, ignorant climate change denier, all you have to do is help them become more open to science and inspire them to love the truth. Most of them mean well, but they're just rejecting the facts because they're afraid of the implications. Because they're afraid that if climate change is real, then that will mean certain laws that they don't like, or it'll mean that they have to change their lifestyle in a way that they don't want to. That's what they're fighting against. So if you inspire them to love the truth, the rest will follow. So again, the claim that climate change is not happening, that's bogus. But there are plenty of political positions that acknowledge the fact, but still disagree that we should invest money in clean energy. Here are 3 examples. You could say government involvement in clean energy actually hurts the clean energy sector. You could say money spent on clean energy could be better spent on other things. You could say it's unethical for the government to spend taxpayer dollars in the private sector, regardless of the possible benefits. All of those claims begin by acknowledging the facts, but then they just go a different way from there. The facts you have to accept, you have to agree with. The political positions, the opinions, the personal values, those you're free to argue. Let me give you a few more examples. Fact: climate change is man-made. Position: government should use regulations to reduce carbon emissions. Plenty of things you could say to disagree with that without throwing out the facts. You could say regulations don't work. You could say they're going to do more harm than good. You could say economic growth should be our top priority, and if our economy grows big enough, then we'll be able to fix all of these environmental issues later. Fact: countries with free markets experience the fastest economic growth. Position: countries should embrace free markets. Again, you have to acknowledge, even if you don't like free markets, you have to acknowledge that their economies grow the fastest. But you could say, well, we shouldn't care about economic growth, or economic growth is actually a bad thing, or yeah, economic growth is good, but it comes at such a high cost that it's not worth it. All right, one more example. Fact: there is a strong correlation between gun ownership and gun violence. One possible thing you could do with that, one position, would be there should be laws to reduce gun ownership, thereby reducing gun violence. That you can disagree with by saying the laws don't work, or it's unethical for the government to intervene, or it's too late to try to take guns out of circulation. If you get into a political debate and somebody's throwing around just facts, without any additional analysis, ask them to keep going. Ask them to continue to explain until they get to a position. And explicitly laying all of that out there is going to really help both of you. Here's an example. Hey, the debt ceiling has increased 60,000% in the last 50 years. Well, that's a fact. And it seems like they're implying a certain political position here, but you don't want to guess what it is. So you just say, well, what does that mean to you? What do you do with this fact? And they offer you the opinion, government spending is out of control. All right, well, now we're getting somewhere. But you want to push a little bit further. Well, what do you think we should do about government spending being out of control? All right, well, here are my positions. At a certain point, government spending is bad. We've passed that point. And we need to reduce government spending back to the certain point. Now we have positions based on a fact, and you can argue and discuss those positions. Maybe you'd say, all right, well, what is the correct amount of spending? And you go from there. Chances are you'll isolate just a few things that you can learn from each other, which should really be the goal of a political debate. And you'll stop wasting time just hurling facts around, or worse yet, disagreeing about the facts. I've been in my share of frustrating political conversations, and often it seems like if somebody disagrees with you, that's just it. There's no way that anyone's mind can be changed. But I promise you, if you understand the distinction between a fact and a position, you're going to be able to change other people's minds. And perhaps most importantly, you're going to be able to change your own mind to have the best positions possible and be the best citizen of your country. Good luck.